back to Daytime Toronto. As promised, I have a treat for you guys. Not just visually, because she is stunning, but she is also extremely smart and very accomplished. We are discussing disability and accessibility advocate Melissa Vassallo. Melissa, you'll be tongue-tied because you're so stunning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here,
I feel
Shannon.
awful for saying this, but in a way, you don't have the face of disability. When we think of disability, traditionally what we see in commercials and media, it doesn't look like you. Do you hear that a lot?
I do tend to hear that a lot, and I think the reason why is because the signal for disability is the wheelchair, the person in the wheelchair. Actually, my accessible pass is just that. It's a person in a wheelchair. So I think there's a bit of stigma tied with disability that, oh, that person must be in a wheelchair. And I think disability takes many different kinds of forms, and there's certainly a plethora of disabilities, and it needs to be a lot more inclusive. People need to recognize that disability is a characteristic of the human variation. It affects us all, and it will affect us at some time in our life. So we need to be far more accepting and recognize that it's in all shapes and sizes.
I told you, she's fantastic. She's so good. And so I really want to talk about your experience. This is your 11-year anniversary, is that correct?
It is. Just
Can you share your story with us?
I think it's a very common story in that I was a fourth-year student, spring break, going to the U.S. and driving with a bunch of friends. I think that's pretty common. What isn't pretty common is that we never made it. It was a terrible car accident. Two of my friends actually passed in the accident. And this happened in Savannah, Georgia, and I was in the U.S. until I stabilized. So after 6 weeks of being there, I was transferred back here to Toronto, and I was an inpatient for the next couple of years.
Wow.
Very long journey.
Here's a shot of the car right here that is absolutely horrific. I can't even imagine what that must have been like. What was the healing process from this point? Because not only did you have to deal with new changes in your life, but also with losing some people who are very special to you.
Well, I think when you have an accident of this nature, you really don't know what the outcome is going to be. So every step along the way, I wasn't sure. But I was very focused and determined that I wanted to get as well as I could, and I really relied heavily on the doctors and the nurses and the team supporting around me to get the best of my health back. And I can say happily, I got my knees back. At one hospital, I got walking back, eating back, all of these wonderful life-changing surgeries really helped affect my quality of life, and it was certainly a progression. It took many years. I was actually in the hospital right before I went into shock in the U.S., and the doctor looked at me and he said, "Now, Melissa, do you not want to die, or do you want to live?" And I'm thinking,
what a question.
Oh my gosh, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
Of course I want to live. What kind of a question is that? And I actually said that to him with a bit of spunk, and he said, perfect. And that was the exact attitude that I needed to be able to get through this catastrophic ordeal. And he said to me, it's going to take 10 years to get your quality of life back. And I thought, I'll do it in 5. But to be honest, it's 11 years later, and it really has been a decade to get to me to this point, and I'm so very grateful that I'm here, and it took a team of people to help me get to this point, but I'm very grateful to be here now.
What are some of the changes that your body did experience? You said you could still eat, you could still, function. Was it walking? Was it arm movement?
Actually, no, I lost those abilities.
Okay.
So I was not able to eat for 15 months. I was wearing my seatbelt in the car accident, and the seatbelt caused the majority of my internal injuries. The car flipped 16 times, and in doing so, the seatbelt went right through me. I lost 2/3 of my intestine. The intestine went into my major organs. My lungs collapsed. My heart failed. I was resuscitated 3 times. And in not being able to eat and my intestines being a bit of a disaster, it took doctors several surgeries to be able to get me to eat on my own and go to the bathroom on my own. And these are very basic skills that we take for granted day in and day out that I had lost.
That is absolutely a magnificent story. So I imagine that it takes a lot more than just rehab. There has to be a mental rehab as well, too. Was that involved in your process?
Absolutely. I think that I was so fortuitous in that God had given me the best people surrounding me, my family. I have a staunch supporter in my mother. She's a big mama bear, and she was through the whole process right beside me. And my father has since passed, but he was a tremendous part of the process, as was my younger brother. And my mom's family was able to support my mom, my brother, and my dad, so they had their support network, and we have a great group of friends that were able to support us. And that really helps, because it can get lonely being in the hospital. But as in any accomplishment in life, you don't do it alone. It's the team around you, and I feel very fortunate that I have these great people in place.
What's so great about your story is that it's not just a personal triumph. You then went on to take this story and do some really positive things with us. Talk a little bit about your outreach.
Pre-accident, I was already the kind of person that was interested in making my community more inclusive. I wanted to help make the world a better place. And I thought the best way to do that was by going to law school and help changing laws. That was my pre-accident idea. Well, all of my jobs had to do with working with people with mental disabilities or physical disabilities, the elderly community. Post-accident, I really had to solidify what it was I was going to do with my life. And lying in a hospital bed, not being able to walk or eat on my own, it was really challenging to think, how do I have anything to contribute? So the first thing that I did was solicit funds to a piece of machinery that helped save my life in the US. It was so empowering for me to be lying in a hospital bed and helping the community around me. I really felt that this was what I was supposed to do in life, and that win led to another win, led to another win, and it just sent me on this amazing path to helping my disability community.
There's a painting really quickly I want to mention as well too that played a very important role in your healing.
It absolutely did. So lying in bed for so many months, getting out of bed was this huge ordeal. I wasn't healthy enough to get around in a wheelchair. I had to get around the hospital in a bed, and my family and I came across this painting. It was actually, my mom brought it to my attention. It was this huge expanse of a painting where a person was actually lying in bed, moving up to a wheelchair, a walker, crutches, 2 canes, 1 cane. By the end of this picture, this person was running. And I recognized that I would never be able to run again, having both knees replaced and both ankles fused. But I can certainly say that I walk very fast.
And with a lot of spirit as well too. I love your spirit. And
thank you.
What has awarded you this spirit? This is a Diamond Jubilee medal, which you were given. Congratulations on that. Your work in the community is absolutely invaluable. For more information, please visit melissavasallo.ca. She speaks and is a wonderful speaker, as you can tell. When we come back, cooking with North York's Beer Market. Can I just pretend to put this on? Is that okay? This is back.